I don't know if you remember, but there was you actually called me just over a year ago, and that was really special for me.
What did I call? What did I call you? Did I call you fat?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mark Bell's Power Project Podcast. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Piedmontese Beef. Nsima, you work with a lot of clients. Definitely some have different goals. Some have they want to gain strength. Some want to lean down. But can you tell me why, for most people, getting more protein in is important?
So, I mean, something that not only do people struggle with, I struggle with a lot, is getting really hungry during a diet. Mm-hmm. It's the biggest thing. It's like people are dieting and they're like, I want to eat more. I need more food. But, you know, one of the reasons why protein is so important, and Mark talks about this all the time with his protein leveraging diet, is that when you have more protein, it's satiating. You feel full. You don't feel like eating a crazy amount of food. And the great thing about Piedmontese is that not only does it have a lot of protein per every single serving of meat, but it has minimal amounts of fat, that if you're dieting, you can kind of go to town on Piedmontese and you're not getting in that many calories of fat. It's great. It's perfect for if you're cutting. And if you're bulking, well, you can just have more meat. It's pretty amazing. You guys got to check it out.
Yeah, you guys got to get satiated today by eating a higher quality cut of beef. And the best way, in our opinion, to do that is by heading over to Piedmontese.com. That's Piedmontese.com. At checkout, enter promo code Power Project for 25% off your order. And if your order is $99 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Yeah. So yeah, we are now up on Clubhouse.
No.
Yep, there we are.
Dude, there's no possible way that we're up on Clubhouse. It's new, man. We have our shit together that good? We're on the front lines of this?
I believe so.
Well, this is an exciting new app. I'm excited about it. And we got talking about it as a group a couple days ago. And we're just like, let's just get her going. Because a lot of people are on there. It's catching fire. I think this thing is going to be big. It's going to continue to grow. And we're working out some kinks, as you can hear me echoing in the background.
See, I'm trying something else.
It's not working.
There we go.
There you go. That worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on it, and bear with us. We might have an issue here or there, but we're learning it, and we're getting better at it. Just the other day, we had Ed Cohn on. We had Stan the Rhino Efferding. We had Sean Baker. We had Christopher Bell, my brother, and we had Matt Vincent on, along with the normal hosts that you see on the Power Project, Nsima Inyang, and Andrew Zaragoza, and myself, Mark Smelly Bell. And it went really well. So I was like, you know what? I want to be on there a lot. And so we're going to be hopping on here a lot. It'll be exclusive content occasionally. And sometimes it might be something that we roll out as part of our podcast as well. But what I want for today is I'd love for you guys to participate. And I'd love for you guys to share the fact that I do have a platform on Clubhouse. What is the actual name of this channel, or whatever you call it? So
yeah, that's one thing that we're gonna eventually at some point roll out. We're gonna start a club here on Clubhouse, but as of right now, we can only do rooms. We have to publish, or we have to go. We have a broadcast.
This is under my name, though, right?
Yes, correct.
Is it just Mark Smelly Bell?
At Mark Smelly Bell, just like it is everywhere.
Got it.
So eventually, we will start a club. Maybe we'll start a club for the podcast, but as of right now, it's just Mark Smelly Bell starting up rooms. And of course, you guys are hearing my voice through Mark's account, just because we are we're broadcasting from the podcast studio, so that way we can record all these conversations and just really take advantage of the big microphones. And then at some point we will do like remote stuff and whatnot. But yeah,
we got big plans.
Yeah, I love and I think. And this is part of like what made Clubhouse so damn popular so quickly, was like sharing ideas and stuff. We have this, I don't even know exactly how expensive this studio is at this point, but we have this big, gigantic studio, professional equipment. And we have an idea, and it's like, Mark, I'm not sure exactly how we're going to run it, but I can do some research. Mark's response is like, fuck it, we're going to do it on Monday. Like, I don't care what happens. Let's just go ahead and get on it right away. And it was a huge success. We had Stan Efferding, we had Sean Baker, we had Chris Bell, and then Matt Vincent popped in there as well, along with Ed Cohn, which that wasn't even planned, but it all worked out really well. And it was just really cool, like having Mark's trust to like, hey, just I'm pretty sure you'll figure it out as we go. And we did, like it wasn't 100% smooth, but it still worked out.
Yeah, people always say don't put your cart before the horse. But if you think about it, many great people over the years have done that. And I think one of the great examples in our American history of this was JFK. JFK had a speech about going to the moon, and he talked about this alloyed metal that they were going to use that he didn't even know they had or had any idea on how they were going to get or how they were going to make it. He just heard some rumors that was potential type of steel that they were going to use that was going to be able to handle the wear and tear of rocket launching. And so he went with it, and he just rolled with it. We saw on Joe Rogan the other day, Elon Musk was on, and he talked about going to Mars, and Rogan's like, when are we going to see trips to Mars? He's like, in 2 years. There has not been one trip to Mars yet, right?
Right.
There has not even been an attempt of human beings trying to go to Mars yet. And he's talking about, like, we got this on lockdown in 2 years. I'm a huge believer in putting the cart before the horse. People will say that often, don't put the cart before the horse, but I'm always like, what's the ramifications of that? So what, the cart sits there a little longer, or something gets messed up? Well, we need to fail fast. We need answers. And the only way we get answers is through error correction. You have to correct something. Are you ever going to start out deadlifting perfectly? Or are you going to deadlift like shit the first couple times you do it? You ever going to start out in jiu-jitsu class, like not looking green, not looking like you're brand new? No, you're going to be green. People are going to be like, oh, God, this guy sucks. Right? They're going to see that in you a lot. So anyway, aside from that, we're excited to be here. We're fired up. I want you guys to participate. So I would like to see people popping their hands up as I go along. And I guess Andrew will kind of cue people in and out. But let's kind of start out with this topic of what Andrew said. Many people are often asking me, what do I got coming up next? Long term, what's next is me trying to escape myself. And what I mean by that is I'm trying to get the hell out of here. I'm trying to get out of Slingshot. I'm trying to move on to some other things. And that's going to be a monumental task and a monumental feat. Even just over the last couple weeks, I was like, wow, like, how in the hell am I going to get out of here? Because I'm still responsible for so many things, but I'll figure it out. My goal was to be retired by 45. I'm 44. So the clock is ticking away. I only have a few more months to figure this out. And doesn't mean I'm not going to podcast. We'll still be podcasting like a bunch of lunatics, like a bunch of savages. We'll be doing that probably more so than anything else. But I would like to move on from some other aspects. And I don't know exactly what that means yet, but you will be informed of that as I get informed of that as well. How largely involved I am with product development and things like that is still huge. I still have created nearly every single thing that you've ever seen, whether it be a hat or a shirt. There's other people that have been a huge part of it as well, and I don't want to take anything away from their creativity and their assistance, in this process of making great products, but it's mainly been me. And so to detach from that, especially like at the end here, or what seems like the end, I got a bunch of shit burning in my head that I need to get out there into the world. And you guys know as much as I do that there's probably a lot more stuff that's going to come out once these other things are released. But we have some crazy products coming your way that are things that you've never seen from Slingshot. And they're things that are unconventional that you have never seen from all the copycat companies that have popped up because Slingshot has made it look so easy to be successful in this fitness space. We have a lot of creative accessories that you guys are going to absolutely love, that you're going to be able to utilize in the gym. And at the end of this month, and maybe the beginning of next month, we have the Steak Shake coming out, Mark Bell's Steak Shake, and you guys are going to get hit in the face with that one. We made a chocolate, we made a vanilla. They both taste really good. There is not another protein on the market that is anything like it. No one else has thought of it. No one else has done it yet. It has beef protein. It has whey protein. It has collagen protein. It has egg. And along with all that, it has all the essential organ meats that you might need in order to fulfill the micronutrients that your body needs. So it's going to provide you with a great deal of protein, all of it very bioavailable. And in addition to that, it's going to present bioavailable micronutrients to you that are superior to anything that you can get from vegetables, anything that you can get from fruits, at least in all the research I've seen. And so that's going to be available soon. Like I said, we made it taste good. It's going to sound like it's disgusting when I tell you everything that's in it. There's heart in it. There's pancreas. There's liver. There's spleen. We threw the kitchen sink in there. There's everything but a pair of nuts in there. We couldn't figure that one out, but maybe the next go of it, we will do that. Made with all natural ingredients. I think it just has some stevia and some monk fruit in it. And I know that people are going to really, really love it. So kind of what's next for me, what's on my mind is this venture into creating supplements is a big thing that's consuming some of my bandwidth at the moment. And that would be something that I would jump into next. So I just consider those two different chapters of my life, making some of these products here at Slingshot and then jumping into supplements. It's just a whole new world. It's a whole new thing that I, am going to learn about as I go. And I know that Steak Shake is going to sell like wildfire. And so the idea is to put that out first. And then there's a whole nother slew of products. Intra-workout. We have a pre-workout. In addition to having a sleep formula, we have a cozy cocoa, which is like this hot chocolate thing that will help put your ass to sleep. And we have a tea that does the same thing. And I couldn't be more excited and more pumped up about it. Something that makes a lot of our products different is that there's beta hydroxybutyrate, which is a ketone. There's some ketones in almost every product. There's some sort of a salt in almost every product. We have a hydration product that's coming out. And what's different from our hydration product and some other hydration products is that ours has, it has some ketones in it as well. So I think you guys are going to love some of these things that are coming up next.
Yeah, and I just want to emphasize the fact of how delicious this damn shake is. I guess I would have been nice, right? But I would have been honest. But I was expecting it to taste like total just terrible, and it actually was freaking incredible. I've
had some of you guys taste other stuff from me, and I have said, look, man, I need to know the truth. I made a few different amino acid type products, and they just weren't right. I had Smokey try them, I had Jess try them, and they're like, look, man, like they just don't taste good. I'm like, really? They're like, no, they're awful. Because like for me, I don't care as much. I don't really mind having something that's kind of, doesn't have to be great. I'll freaking get through it, man. If I find it beneficial, like right. I'll if I'm gonna gag from it, then no. But I'll put myself through it if I think it's gonna work. But it's been great having you guys give me the truth.
Yeah, I mean, you've had me try some essential amino acids where I was like, I think there's a little too much gasoline in this one.
Right?
Yeah, it was pretty, that like pretty rough.
Burn. You're just like, what is that?
Yeah. Real quick, what I don't want to say what prevented you in the past, but like in the past, you hadn't really considered making a supplement line. I want to say with a guest, somebody had asked you, and this was at the old gym. I don't remember your answer, but why did it take so long for you to kind of come out with something?
Just needed everything to be lined up correctly. Needed everything to be right. There's been some changes to the company. There's been some things that have been different about the company over the years, and now we have resources. We have finances to be able to play around with some concepts and ideas. So we have room. We have a little bit of room for error. And also, I wanted to make sure that I was really excited about whatever it was I was going to make. As I started getting into more keto and low carb style stuff, and as I started recognizing the need for products like Element, who's a sponsor of our podcast, and I started to recognize, man, these things are huge. And before I ever was presented with a product from them, I was taking something from a company called Keto Vitals, and I was off the bat, I was like, you know what, this, from a businessman perspective, from a business person's perspective, I use this every day. It just makes sense for me to make it myself. And I know some people might be like, well, you're stepping on somebody else's toes, but that's business. People do it to me. I do it to other people. It's just, it's not fun. You know, it's not fun. But when I think about Slingshot and when I think about super training and Slingshot are not Mark Bell. There's a whole entire crew that I'm responsible for. I would love to continue to up the pay of every single person in the building every single time that they have demonstrated that they're worthy of that, without question. I just want it to be like, yeah, you want 20 grand more? Boom, you're set, right? But we can't do that unless we have that kind of money coming in. And so this gives us an opportunity for the company to grow. These supplements could be, I mean, imagine if the company was bringing in 25% more, 50% more. Like, we could have Mo Better stuff, you know,
right?
And then everybody else has Mo Better stuff. Then everybody else is, you know, you're going to see. I remember the first time that I ever saw Emma, you know, come into work in a newer car, and I was like, oh my God, I just never even really thought that much through. And I'm like, holy, you know, it kind of made me scared in a way. I was like, holy shit, you know, we're responsible for a lot more than I was ever really even considering. But yeah, we'd love for everybody here to not sweat whether their transmission on their car blew up or not. First of all, to have a car that the transmission's not compromised is a good start. And also for people to be able to like just buy stuff, just like flat out buy it, and stuff that you and I have talked about a bunch, where you don't have a bunch of bills and a bunch of shit stacking up. So that is a huge motivation to move into this space, because not that we've maxed out what Slingshot can do. I think Slingshot still has room to about, you know, 5x what it can do. I don't know beyond that. I don't know how much further it can go. But the supplements have an opportunity. The supplements within 2 years, if things go correctly, it should be able to equal exactly what Slingshot is doing. So that's doubling everything that we're doing, doubling everything that we have going on. So it's like, I know that people get weird talking about money, but man, the resources and the things that money can provide you, they're really, really important. Another example would be, what if we could bring in a CEO, or what if we can bump somebody up into the CEO position and have my wife, you know, be able to work her way out of the business as well. Well, now we have more time for other stuff, or maybe she has time to just focus on supplements. Shouldn't have to worry about Slingshot. I mean, the things that having extra income can do are really amazing. We could hire more people, so we can provide for more people in this pandemic times and things like that. So a lot of my mind is on that. And so when people ask me about like diet, or people ask me about training, I'm like, you know, training is just so fun, and the diet is fun. And, you know, I just end up kind of doing what I do. I know people, you know, are still very curious. And I'll go over that in a minute, unless you have anything else to add here.
Yeah. Before we switch lanes there, a lot of people are they feel like, oh, it's too late to start a YouTube channel. Like, they're afraid of failing. You know, you always preach like fail fast, but a supplement line, you know, in today's day and age, like, there's supplements all over the place. How is it that you don't feel that it's too late for Mark Bell to get his, you know, grasp on this, like this industry?
I have some access to some like secret people, you know. I got some people that are kind of like, you know, underground, unconventional, you know, and the person that I developed some of these products with, and the company that I utilized are both, you know, spectacular. Like, they're fantastic. I got one guy who's, you know, reaching for the stars, and I got a company that, you know, a co-packing company to do the supplements. That's like, hey, that's cool that you're reaching for the stars like that, but, you know, this is an element that's not of this world and we can't find it, or whatever, you know, or this is an element that you're trying to throw into a product, but like we don't know how long we can purchase that for. So I don't want you to go through one run of it. Let's just hypothetically say you're trying to throw vitamin D into a supplement, and somebody says, "Hey, look, there's very specific vitamin D that you want to go after because this is absorbed by the body a lot better," or whatever it is. Well, that's cool and that's great, but you need to know like how much access do you have to that? How, will the well run out? Like, is this something that somebody will have for 3 months and then you have to switch, and your whole ad campaign and everything you did was surrounding that? So you can get yourself into some compromising positions, but it's never too late. It's never too late to start anything. It's never too late to start a YouTube channel. It's never too late for somebody to, fall in love or, have a relationship. I know many people that have, that are single. I remember even with like my sister-in-law being single for a while. I remember, I remember talking to her. I mean, she was still very young when she met her husband, but I remember talking to her and I was like, "Hey, don't sweat it. You know why?" And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "Because whoever you meet, you're going to spend every day of your life with forever." Pretty much. I mean, there's situations that pop up that doesn't work out, but either way, even if you're with somebody for 5 years, you're with them for 5 years, and it's not like you're with them on and off for 5 years. You're with them almost every day. There's some sort of communication or some sort of thing every single day, and it doesn't matter if you're 25 or if you're 55. It's never too late to start anything. We had a guy come in here not too long ago that told me he started lifting and he was like 70. And I think he started when he was like 68. And I was like, this is the coolest thing. He's like going to a world championship or something. He was so pumped up about it. And he looked fit, and he told me he lost a bunch of weight and everything. And I was just like, this is amazing. This is so cool. It's never too late to start anything.
That's great. So it looks like we have Chris Bell. He's hanging out. We got our boy Matthew Balcom. He's hanging out too. Devin, Jose, and another guy named Andrew.
Let's get Matthew Balcom in here for a second.
Let's see if he's willing to step up. Let's see. Hold on.
Step up. Step up or step aside, son.
Invite him to speak, and then I'll just invite Mr. Borbell.
Yeah, you might as well. My brother wants to say something. He's gonna be shouting. He's gonna be like, "Hey!"
Speaking of, what's up, Maddie?
How's it going, fellas?
Hey, Mr. Matthew Balcom, I want to personally thank you for that painting that you sent of my mom. I really appreciate that. That was amazing that you thought of us in that way and that you spent time on that. Whenever I see something like that come from somebody, you could have bought us a present. You could have sent us some flowers or some wine, or you could have gave us $50 or something like that. But you chose to do, I think, what's the most important thing is to spend some time on something. And so that was very uplifting for my family, and I really appreciate that. It was very kind of you.
I'm glad that was the idea behind it.
Yeah, fantastic.
Nice to hear.
Yeah, and he sent one.
I do want.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm getting the feedback today, I guess.
My bad. I know we're still working on that.
Oh, okay. That's not me. Yeah, it was full disclosure. It was my idea, but I'm not that good of an artist. So I contacted a guy that I get to do work for my store.
Right.
I buy stuff from him to resell.
That's
and I
great.
was like, I know you're like 2 months into orders, but I got something that needs to be done like ASAP. And then I pushed him to get the same thing similarly done for Andrews, because I've had it on the back order since like the beginning of summer. I was like, look, I really need this done now. Let's get it done, because I bought thousands of dollars worth of paintings from him already. He's like, all right, I'll do you this solid. So I told him what I wanted it to see roughly, your mom going up to the gates of heaven, shedding her earthly shackles,
right,
getting to see Mike again, right, and he's awesome.
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. I think we may have lost him there.
Maybe.
Oh,
not sure what happened.
Oh, I think I'm back. Someone tried to call me.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, we really appreciate that. Are you like that in general? Like, do you, think about other people a lot like that?
I try to, but I find because I'm generous, I get taken advantage of a lot. So I try and direct it in certain places.
I see. It seems like you pour your heart and soul into stuff, because just knowing you, like as a fan, as somebody that purchases boatloads of stuff from Slingshot and stuff. I could see where that could happen to you, where somebody would be like, "Oh, well, he just." They take it for granted, but we don't take it for granted. We really appreciate it, and we see you, man. We hear your name. Everybody here at this company, everybody here at Slingshot, and most of the people at Super Training Gym, we all know your name.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but there was you actually called me just over a year ago, and that was really special for me.
What did I call? What did I call you? Did I call you fat?
No, my my girlfriend at the time harassed you on Instagram,
right? And
you called me up while I was at work, and was like, "This is Mark Bell." And the reason she harassed you is because I was basically, it's still emotional for me.
It's okay.
I was basically fat, sick, and nearly dead,
and
I didn't have anybody that cared.
Right.
And finding your YouTube videos and all that stuff, I mean, like, it really was life-changing.
Yeah, well, how important is that to have at least one person, like you felt like nobody cared, but at least it sounded like your girlfriend cared, and then you found out, like, shit, man, maybe more people care, because when I heard about your story, I cared enough to call you up, and it's unbelievable, having people like that in your corner. My mom, grew up with this kind of terrible upbringing, but was so strong and powerful that she was able to instill a lot of confidence in me and my brothers, and to make us feel fulfilled and make us feel good and make us feel like someone cared. I mean, she always made us feel like somebody cared. It was it was hard to be lonely, growing up in that household, because she was always making sure that we were doing something, or she was always making sure that she's giving us a hug or a kiss or a pat on the back. And she was super annoying too, just like any other mom, but she was right there to support us every step of the way. So it's great that you had your girlfriend to kind of step up to the plate for you.
Yeah, that was actually ironically one of the cases of how I have to be careful. She basically only did it to win favor herself, which is ironic. Nonetheless, it meant I got a call from you, so that was appreciated. But she ended up having to be someone that had to leave, because I discovered over time she's one of those people that was only being nice as long as I was spending money on her and doing things for her.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, right? So,
well, like, look, though, she was in your life for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, so while you may have went through some heartache, with a breakup or whatever, it appears that she was in there just to uplift you just when you needed it. And hey, so what if it costs a few $1,000?
That's what I say. Totally. It's I try not to. I'm almost 43. I'll be 43 in a couple days. But I've kind of learned at this point in life, you have to take good and bad from every experience. You need to learn from them. If you just sit here and brood on the bad shit. There were positive things that came from that relationship. I learned how to deal with that type of person on an intimate level, where I've never had that in my life before, because before I found powerlifting and your stuff, and probably started carnivore and lost, effectively 150 pounds,
oh my
all
God.
kinds of crazy stuff like that. I wasn't really attractive to women, that kind of stuff. So I never had that in my life. I never had to worry about that. So all of a sudden it was a thing, and I learned a lesson from it. And now I know what to watch for in future as well, right?
Yeah, now you know what you don't want, right? What do you do for a living?
I have a video game store in Nova Scotia, Canada.
Okay, absolutely. I remember you. I actually was.
Yeah.
I remember. I remember having a discussion with you and talking to you, and I remember being pretty choked up myself about some of your story. And that's amazing, man. 150 pounds. Why don't you tell people what you did diet wise to achieve? How'd you get started? Like, what was the first thing that you did to lose, let's say, the first 30 pounds?
Yeah, certainly. So what happened was, timeline's blur together now. So I think it was the Christmas of 2017. I was 300, maybe it was the year before that, sometime in there. I was 300 and some pounds, about 330. And I started having this weird feeling on my right leg. And it was starting to swell. And my socks, it was to the point where, like, the fat was coming out over the sock was so tight.
Not a great look.
Yeah. Cankles maximum. So I went to the hospital, and the doctor's like, holy shit, you have a really bad infection. So there's actually pictures on my Facebook of me like sitting in the hospital bed. They're doing an ultrasound on my leg and crazy stuff like that. And he comes back because I still at that point, I don't really, when you don't know anything about health, you're just like, oh, I eat healthy. I eat McDonald's twice a day. Right? Like you don't know shit.
Right.
So I'm laying in that bed and he comes over. He's like, no, this is how serious it is. We're going to have to give you really strong antibiotics and you're going to have to come back every day until we get this under control, or we're going to have to amputate your leg.
Wow.
And I was just like, uh-oh. Because not that I have anything against people with disabilities. It's just like one of my personal fears is I don't know what I'd do if I lost an arm, if I lost a leg, if I lost an eye.
That'd be brutal.
Yeah, I don't know how I could cope. Like I have the utmost respect for people who have those disabilities because I look at it and I go, that's just so scary for me. That's like I'm more afraid of not being able to do what I enjoy being able to do in my life than I am of just flat out dying. So they started making me, and at the time, of course, I got tested and I was diabetic. So they sent me to, in Canada, we have the socialized healthcare, luckily. It costs out of our taxes, but
I got a question.
Pocket at that
I got a question for you. When you were diabetic, did you feel diabetic? Did you feel anything? Did you have like instances where you felt your blood sugar being a problem or no?
Now I can look back and I think I could say yes. When you don't know anything about health or food or what sugar really is, and that sugar comes from carbs and all those things, and you're fat and sick and you can't breathe and you can't walk, and like I couldn't go up and down the stairs in my house.
I think there's millions. The reason why I asked you is like I think that there's millions of people in the United States at least that are diabetic and undiagnosed. They're not treating their diabetes because they don't even know that they have it. But it's seriously eating away at their body, just like it was, about to eat away at your leg.
It totally 110% agree with that, because I can look back at those times now. I see symptoms like the guy that works for me. I'm trying to get him to do what I did because I care to see him do better, because I want him to be an important part of my business and I want his life to be better. And I see little things like the other day, one of the triggers or one of the signs that I learned when I started going to the diabetic clinic is something to do with diabetes and like your blood sugar and having to urinate all the time. So for like a span of a week, he had to take a leak like every 15 minutes. And it wasn't proportional to the amount of any liquids he was drinking in the day.
Right.
And I tried to I tried to tell him, hey, and he's like, oh, no, I'm not diabetic. Don't worry about it. And I'm like,
Right.
I mean, you might not be, but that can be a sign that there's something going on. You could be pre-diabetic. This is something you should look into, because I didn't. And then I became diabetic. And then type 2, they technically say you can never like cure it. You can just manage it. So technically my doctor doesn't consider me cured, but I haven't taken medications basically since I started the carnivore diet.
That's absolutely amazing. And what did the diet look like in the very beginning for you to lose like that first maybe 30 pounds or so? Certainly.
So the beginning there was, I didn't jump right onto carnivore. I tried to figure it out myself. And that's kind of partially how I stumbled into, what you were preaching. So I went to the diabetic clinic, and they teach you about carbs, and it's so complex. I think that's the biggest issue for people. And that's probably the simplicity and beauty of the carnivore diet, is that here, these people, these dietitians are telling me you need to have 15 grams of carbs with every snack, but no more than 30 grams of carbs in a meal. And here's the pie chart of you should have this much greens, you should have this much fiber. And when you know nothing about nutrition and you come into that and you're scared and you're sick, I think that was it was too much work. So I came up with my own system. I started eating chicken and rice and drinking protein shakes twice a day. So I had chicken and rice together once a day, but I wasn't really measuring it. So I don't even know how much I was having calorie-wise. And then having 2 protein shakes, one in the morning, one in the evening.
Shit, that'll work.
That got me down to, I probably lost the first it was fluctuating. It wouldn't stay down either, though. So I would drop maybe down to 300 at best on that one.
Right.
And then, so I think it was 2 years ago when you first did the World Carnivore Month. You literally just made a post on Facebook that was something like, all right, fat asses, we're going for carnivore. I was like, okay.
You're like, fat ass, he's talking to me.
Yeah.
He was definitely talking to me too.
Yeah.
We got Wayne in here too.
You got to do it. You got to do it. Right. So, so I just jumped on the carnivore diet, and so I started that January 1st of 2019, I guess it would be. And at that point, I weighed about 300. And the reason I say I don't really know how much weight I lost is because we all know, muscle weighs something. I went from not being able to like lift anything to being able to almost deadlift 500. I think it was 475 when I was stopped there, and I cut down to 230 pounds at the same time. And I wasn't hungry because, just carnivore. So I did technically start with a non-carnivore diet,
right?
But nothing really happened until I took the plunge. And again, it comes back to how helpful you were with it. You answer, and I look at it now and I laugh because I see all the stupid questions. What can I eat? And I'm like, oh, fuck, I was asking that question 2 years ago. Right. And it's like, just eat meat and eat it until you're full. Like earlier today, I was talking to a good friend of mine and I was cooking up, it just ended up being like 2.6 pounds of steak. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, man, I'm probably not going to eat for another day at this point. Like, this is just, I don't even know how many calories it is, but it's all I'm going to need. Right. And sure enough, that's what it is. It's about 2,500 calories. I did calculate it for him, but it's just the satiation, like everything you said about it's true. Like you're going to feel fuller. You're going to feel more energetic. I don't feel the need to snack. I don't feel the need to grab things and bite things. The first time ever that I was able to say no to like someone walks in with a donut, oh, do you want a donut? Yeah, I gotta have a donut. But when I was on carnivore, I was just sort of like, nah, I don't. After like a month of carnivore, I was like, my sweet tooth has adjusted the point where it's cool, but I don't crave it. Like my mouth doesn't start watering just because I smell sugar in the room.
I think so far with the quote of the year for 2021 is from Matthew Balcom saying, I just wanted to bite things. That spoken like a true fat guy. I got my buddy Wayne Jensen on the line, our boy from Dutch Bros over there. And Wayne has been kind of struggling. He's been kind of off plan for a bit. You have any advice for him to kind of get back on plan? What was something that really help prevent you from, like, as you said, biting on stuff? What was something that prevented, or what was something that kind of kicked some of your bad habits, maybe the eating late at night and sweet tooth type stuff?
I think it's really just because I was in a very kind of scared place. So maybe I would say to Wayne, get in the place where you're scared of what's going to happen with your health before it actually is something you need to be scared about. Because for me, it was getting to that point where, like, literally in a hospital and a doctor saying, we might have to cut your leg off. And it's not an option. Like they weren't telling me that this thing is, do you want to have your leg cut off? It's like, it's cellulitis. If it gets into the bone, we've got to cut it off. So there are health conditions that come from being fat and eating bad that I think are maybe more rare, but they are super serious. And if they were to happen, so if Wayne can maybe put a little bit of fear in himself now to say, hey, I really need to try. And I'm not saying he's not trying his hardest now, but I really, really need to try. So when Mark posted, hey, it's Carnivore Month starting January 1st, let's do this, people. It was just like, all right, I'm going to try this. Cause like, I've watched his videos for lifting and I'm able to learn how to lift and look at the amount of the weight that Mark has lost over the years. And, just the people that are around him, like Stan, and like, just like, when I started looking into powerlifting more and more, and I'm like, holy shit, Mark like knows everybody and everybody respects Mark. So this is a person to listen to. So I guess I would say, you have to really get it into your head that you want to be into that state of mind where you're fearful before you actually really have to be fearful. Because that's another thing, is that when I was scared of it, it's not a good feeling. I mean, I'm okay with it now, but at the time I was like, when I was first starting the carnivore and fighting the cravings, it was a lot of, I want to have that cookie. I want to have that bag of chips. And because I have a game store, people come in here and they physically play games and they like me. So they want to bring treats and stuff to share. So donuts and cookies and stuff like that.
What'd you do instead? What'd you do instead? Did you eat something or no? Or did you just not eat?
I'm trying to think back. So it's about 2 years now. So I would say, I think what I got into, because of, asking all the same stupid questions, like what should I eat and stuff. I just kept experimenting with things. And
I mean, did you have like prep? Did you have like prep? You have like prep meals with you or something? Like, how did you avoid when you got home from work and you're real tired, or somebody brought you something? Like, how did you avoid some of this? Did you simply just say no and just, be hungry, or did you stuff it down with like a steak or a shake or something like that?
So I think I'm a little bit unique compared to some people for some reason. So I was a smoker many years ago, and then I went to see the doctor for that, and they're like, oh, you might have MS. So, because I had a complication, so you should stop smoking. And I literally just quit smoking that day after like 10 years. I just threw the cigarette in the ground. I was like, I'm done. So once I can get my mind on something, I actually appear to have a fairly unique ability to just go, I'm done. So for as far as the snacks and stuff, it was just a matter of once I decided that structure of you literally were just saying, hey guys, you can fall off the diet, but you should try and go 30 days, just meat and water, and eat whatever meat you want. So I just experimented with all kinds of meats. I'm a little bit lucky in that it's my business, so I can do whatever I want. So out back, initially I had an Instant Pot, so I could just throw stuff in it and keep it warm. It wasn't the best tasting, but it was available. So like chicken breast or stuff like that. I could even do steak in it. Obviously, it's really horrible tasting steak, but it was available at all times.
That's huge.
And then I evolved up to a George Foreman grill, and now I have Chris's fault. I have a Ninja Foodie grill.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I just keep it here, and those are all things that like within 15 minutes you can have 3 pounds of steak cooked in a Ninja Foodie, right? So it's never far away. So I've never meal prepped per se. But I have a fridge at my store. I have the grill out back, so I can just whenever I need it.
Matthew, thank you so much for your time. We're gonna drop you off over here. We appreciate all your support, and thank you so much for sharing that story with us.
No, thanks for your input, Matt. Appreciate you, buddy.
Wayne, what the fuck's your problem? Why are you so fat over there? What's going on?
Oh,
dude, fuck. Come on, dude. I'm just like all you other fucking guys, man.
Right, I know.
I got my ups and downs, I guess.
Yeah, I hear that.
I think when I was talking to Chris, him and I had a really good conversation this morning, and
you got back into it today, right?
Yeah, we went and lifted today.
Fucking day one.
Broke the cycle. And it's just what I was talking about to you guys is like that routine that we had was huge for me, and I just ever since we stopped lifting in the mornings, I just haven't quite hit that consistency again. And then it led to, a week without lifting and a week with bad food. And then now I'm back up to, 269 pounds. And I think it's probably my heaviest I think I've ever been. And I definitely, like with what Matt was telling me, is like, I'm definitely at that point where it's getting a little like scary. I'm noticing like my, hands are going numb more often.
Right.
I don't know if it's from one thing or the other, but I definitely need to get my shit together. And, that's why Chris and I were talking. I think it's so important to have accountability in a friend to work out with, or somebody that's going to, be there with you. And like the other day you texted me and Sean, and, I didn't respond because I'm like, I had tricked myself into being like, nah, dude, I went back like months to where I was like, man, you're not game enough to go. Just be lazy today, and just lying to myself.
Right.
So I don't know, man. I definitely was appreciative of our workout this morning, and it got me thinking to get back going into it, because it's so important for me to be healthy, not only for myself, but for my wife and my friends and all the people that, are watching me. With the role that I have here with Dutch Bros, it's like what I do matters, and I watched that video that Chris posted of you like yesterday, and talking about who the fuck are you? Who are you, and who do you want to be when you look in the mirror? Who do you want to be in general? So yeah, it's rough when you get into this spot and to try to dig yourself back out of it. But I'm just going to try to take it day by day and see where that goes.
I think the only way to get out of this for somebody like yourself, because I think that you're very similar to myself and to a lot of the listeners, like you just love some junky food. For me, I'm lucky that I started lifting so early. So I always stayed on point with lifting, and diet has come and gone and things like that over the years. But I've, usually recalibrate because I had a lifting background from when I was young. I always ate a lot of protein or had protein shakes. I was part of, like, fitness has always been part of my life. I think what we see happen with a lot of folks, though, is that they are either in fitness and they eat a little bit better, or they don't do anything at all, and the protein shakes fall to the wayside. Smarter decisions with their food fall to the wayside, and they just they revert back to these old habits because they're comfortable, and they're not doing 10-minute walks anymore because the food the food and not sleeping and all these combinations of things, they wear you down and you're not motivated and excited to do much of it anymore. So I think the only way out of this for you, and this is going to sound weird, but I think it's the truth, is to eat your way out of it. Literally, like, just get a lot of meat going and get yourself used to some food, some real food again. Get rid of some carbs. The only reason why I say get rid of carbs for people, because people are like, carbs aren't bad. Carbs are not necessarily bad, but they do encourage overeating, and things like cereal and things like that. When you think about people like to think that those foods don't cost that much and they can't afford steak. But when you start to think about you start to think about how cereal promotes diabetes, it's like, well, I don't want to pay for that fucking shit at all, because the cost of having diabetes is too great.
Everybody should ask themselves, hey, when you go pour yourself a bowl of cereal, are you going to eat the whole box? And if the answer is yes, then you're not allowed to have carbs.
You're right. And I think a big deal too is being proud of yourself. You want to think like, what will allow me to feel really proud of myself? Like, am I proud of like the burrito tasted fucking awesome. I get it. It's so good. I love a burrito. I'd love to eat a burrito. I'd love to eat a sandwich. I'd love to eat a slice of pizza or two every single day. And I have those cravings. They're still in there. Like, they haven't gone anywhere. They're still waiting for Fat Mark Bell to rear his ugly head. But I've replaced it with smarter choices. I replace it sometimes with just having rules that are black and white. Like, at the moment, I'm working on some fasting again. So I'm going to fast every day for 18 hours or so, and push the food back, to later on in the day, and cut my food out a little bit earlier in the evening, because I would eat too close to bed, and I just don't think that's good for my sleep and so forth. But you can turn this around very easily. You've done it before. You've proven to yourself that you can do it. But I think one of the key components here is not to even really think about trying anything. Just start doing, have low expectations for yourself, or maybe even no expectations of yourself. Don't think to yourself, if I don't do this by this time, then I'm going to make this happen to myself, or whatever. You don't want to be like coercive in your efforts. You want to be more like a cheerleader of yourself. You want to be encouraging of yourself. And if you do things that are so simple that they're hard to refuse to do, then you will be proud of yourself, and you'll gain a ton of momentum. And that's when somebody's like, hey dude, have you lost some weight? And you're like, well, I haven't really even checked. I'm not sure. And then you hop on the scale, and sure enough, you drop, 10 pounds, kind of like what was happening when you're coming here. I also get it when you said, when we stopped those morning workouts, you kind of weren't into it anymore. That makes a lot of sense, because you're a hard working son of a bitch. And I think you loved that challenge. Like, hey man, can you get up at like 4 a.m. or 3:30 and be at the gym at 4 a.m. and come train with a bunch of other like-minded lunatics? And you're like, yeah, I can do that. But when that challenge is not great enough, you're kind of like, I don't really feel like going to the gym in the middle of the day. When you kind of forget, you lose sight of the fact that you have a job where you can modify your hours to your needs, and you have an amazing opportunity to work out at 8 a.m. or 12 or 3 or 5, or like kind of within reason, I'm sure, like with almost whatever time you'd like. And so I do understand the fall off, but I think now it's time to give yourself another challenge that you feel is considerable. You feel like it's kind of going to be, like, say to yourself, look, man, you know what? By Christmas, I would love to be about 220. And you don't have to, force it. You don't have to try it. You just have to work on doing it. What are 5 things that would take you from 269 pounds to 220 pounds? And right away, we could say, okay, number 1 is consistency. Okay, well, what's some things that you can be consistent with? Well, from now until December 25th, you can walk twice a day for 10 minutes every single day. Like, there's that sounds like so simple that it's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, to speak about freedom, I mean, I just hopped on the Peloton
at my work, and now I'm walking.
There,
So,
yeah, that's
while I'm listening. So it's like I do have a lot of freedom, and there really is no excuses for me to not try to do the best that I can every day. I mean, I have a freaking badass gym
right
4 minutes away from my house that's free.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I think it's just, having a lot of respect for yourself. Like, I think that you're an amazing person. Like, I tell people this all the time. Like, when I see somebody like my buddy Wayne, like, you can't help but smile. Even when I see Wayne from a distance, like, I'm already start kind of giggling and laughing because I know that he's gonna change the temperature in the room a little bit and make everybody feel better, because he's just a fun-loving guy, and just like, I'm excited to be around him. Not everybody has that same energy. Sometimes somebody else comes in the room and you're like, oh my God, like, who's this person? Or you're just frustrated because that person's going to give you some sort of excuse, or just, they always kind of have a lot of weight on their shoulders, and you're kind of getting anxiety before you even say what's up to them for the day. But you're not that type of person at all. And you're somebody you're dedicated on many, many, many levels. And it's just, when I see someone like you, I'm like, oh man, all we got to do, it's like a small tweak. We just need to have some of that energy that he has in these other aspects of his life, and just have that bleed off into some training and some nutrition. And the nutrition, to be honest with you, the nutrition can come and go a little bit. It is the most important thing when it comes to weight loss. But when it comes to health, if you're moving and you're working on building muscle, and your nutrition is like, 70-30, you're probably going to be a lot healthier. For a lot of people, to be a lot healthier, because it's probably way better than what they were doing before. If you want to start to have aesthetics and you want to start to look good, that'll be harder. You'll have to have more of an 80-20 or a 90-10, depending on your metabolism, depending on where you're at. But these things, they're, like I said earlier, they're very simple. You can walk twice a day. You could start to eat more protein. You can try some intermittent fasting. Those are 3 things that anybody can get started on right away. You just want to make sure that none of it is excessive. 10-minute walks, those are simple. But if you try to go for an hour walk every day, now you just fucked yourself. If with your protein, if you're thinking like, I'm going to eat 400 grams of protein a day, again, now you just fucked yourself again. If you're just overthinking some of these things, and lifting, walking, eating protein, and some intermittent fasting, those 4 things right there can help a ton. Making sure you have some decent sleep hygiene. Like, what are you doing to prep for bed? Are you watching like a scary ass movie and then diving into bed after, eating a big bowl of ice cream or something like that? Like, you're probably not going to have the best sleep that you can. So you try to develop some habits where you can
dude, I've been
sleep
onto those
better.
crime TV, those crime dramas and shit on Netflix, thinking somebody's gonna break into my house.
Yeah, it really ups the ante, ups the anxiety. What's your worst part of the day for you in terms of your food? Like, where do you tend to make the worst decisions? Because when I was heavy, I know that I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would attack the pantry like a fucking polar bear. And if I just even had cut back on that, I would have been a lot healthier at those times. So what's the weak point for you?
Okay, so I'm the opposite of that. I don't wake up and snack at all at night. And I'm not, what's crazy is my wife and I don't really keep that many snacks because she's very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
She kicks my ass when it comes to this stuff. And so I think the worst thing I have in my house right now, to be honest with you, is those fucking peanut butter pretzels from Costco. Fuck, I love those things.
Those are great.
God, those are literally...
Dude, anyway. You just killed everybody that's listening. Everybody just veered off the road and turned around and is going to Costco hungry right now.
So those are the things I like to snack on towards the evening times. But really it's, I don't eat breakfast. I wait till I'm fucking starving. And my brain just goes, get any kind of food you can get, whatever you want. And I get whatever I want. I'll go to fucking Mod Pizza snag a pizza real quick because it's fast. I went like I'll go to Habit and grab like burger patties and chicken patties, but I don't, get all the shit on them. But I think when I do eat, it's a lot of food, whatever it is. Sometimes it's healthy and sometimes it's not. And it allows that inconsistent, progress with my body and lack of exercise. That along with that.
Right.
So,
yeah, just so some of the rules would be a little different for you then, because I wouldn't suggest really messing with intermittent fasting.
Coffee drinks.
Yep. Coffee drinks with different calories in it and stuff. I think what can happen here sometimes is we shut ourselves down from doing certain things so much that we don't want to give it another shot again, and we end up kind of reverting back to our bad habits because, like, you were putting in a really good effort last time, and I remember you got stuck for a little while, and we were trying to figure out why you were stuck. But these things happen, and when you're working hard but there's something slightly off to where you're no longer making progress, it's kind of demoralizing. You're like, man, I'm working pretty hard, but this is all I'm getting for this. Like, man, this kind of sucks, but a lot of times you're super close, a lot of times you're like 80% there. And it's just like, I mean, you would be super pumped to be where you're at or where you were at before right at this very moment, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And so, you at the time you were kind of frustrated with it, but now you're like, shit, man, that would be great to be stuck again, for 4 or 5 months at the same body weight. But yeah, for you, I wouldn't advise intermittent fasting, even though we've utilized it with you before. I would just, when you first wake up, have some eggs, and anytime you're hungry, eat. I think one of the biggest issues with dieting is, when people get hungry, they make poor decisions. So I think a couple things here. Number one is don't allow yourself to get hungry. Number two is always know where the next couple of meals are coming from. Like, you should know where like a whole entire day's food is coming from before that day even starts. We have to kind of admit, we have to take a step back, and we got to say, hey man, I got a problem. Like, I have an issue. And when somebody has a problem, somebody has an addiction, someone has an issue, they have to have rules that are slightly different than other people. And you might have to do some stuff that you're like, man, fuck this. Why do I have to do this? Well, this is just the circumstances that you're in at the moment. And we need to try to create an environment that will allow you to take steps forward. So for myself, I have to think about this all the time. I have to think about, oh my God, is my steak out of the freezer yet? Or did I forget to thaw it out? Like, if some of these things are problematic for you, you can solve them by getting an air fryer, because you can cook meat that's frozen in an air fryer. There's a lot of options nowadays to kind of get over some of these hurdles. Having some, utilizing a meal prep company. Not everyone has the finances to just go and buy whatever they like, but I'll tell you, it's really, really convenient. Even if you don't use those foods all the time, at least they're there as a backup. So it's very, very simple. In order to solve some of your issue, you're very hungry and you're looking for what tastes good and what's convenient. The one thing that might get knocked back a tiny bit on this is the tasting good part. Like, it might not taste quite as good as that burrito that you had, or it might not taste quite as good as that mod pizza that you had, but delaying the gratification that you get from the pizza will give you what you actually really truly want, and that's a healthier and stronger and a better looking body. It's just that the price that you have to pay for that takes a really long time. It takes months, and in some cases it takes years, and in some cases it takes decades, and you're like, damn, this is a really long ass journey to get to this point. So I think a lot of those things would help you a lot, and I'm always around. I'm always available to, help you as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, thanks, man. I think the biggest realization I had a couple days ago is when those voices that you talk to yourself with started getting real negative. When I start thinking about how I look in my brain. I mean, I definitely don't speak it out loud.
Right.
But, you know, I'm talking to myself, my brain, basically, in a nutshell, calling myself a loser, basically, for where I've been allowed myself to get to. And just, you know, I think in my mind now, I'm saying, fuck that, dude. That's not you. This isn't you.
Right.
You're fucking way more badass than you're giving yourself credit for. I mean, when I was working out with you guys, I mean, I was proving it every day. I was proving it.
Yeah, and you were getting strong too. That was getting pretty gnarly. I was like, damn, dude, he's fucking moving around some weight. You know, the good news is you can get control of this again, and I'm very confident that you will. I actually think that calling yourself a loser is great. I actually really do. I think putting yourself down, as much as people try to say, look, man, you got to be more positive to yourself, I actually think it's great, because I think it can help you examine yourself. It can help you examine yourself, and it can help you make a correction. You know, you're Sean Provost with Dutch Brothers as well. He talks a lot about failing fast. And when you tell yourself that you're a loser, I think that's got to be the end of it, though. You know, you don't want to pile on yourself. You don't want to kind of kick a downed opponent. But I think it's okay to have a little bit of negative talk to yourself, because you're like, I can do better. You know, I know I can do better. You know, maybe I'm not going to be, 200 pounds, and maybe I'm not going to have a set of abs, but I can be better than 269 pounds. And we know that you can get down to 260, and we know that you can weigh 250, and we know you can weigh 230, and so on. And all we have to do is break this down into smaller parts, into smaller jobs. Like, how easy is it? Like, if I said, Wayne, okay, you weigh 269 today. If you're 259, at this time next month, I'll give you $10,000. Like, you'd be able to do
that again.
if you weigh 259, and a month from now, I'll give you $10,000. You know, I think you would be able to do it. And that just shows that you have the ability inside of you already to do a lot of these things. And I think you don't necessarily need answers from me, and you don't need answers from my brother. You need answers from yourself. You need to figure out. If I was in your shoes, I would examine why you think you're eating these foods, and I'd write out maybe 5 reasons why you think you're eating these foods, rather than just thinking about them them tasting good and being quick and convenient. And you don't have to share this on the show. This is the exercise for you to do yourself. Think about it, and think about, what are some reasons? Like, is there something from your childhood? Is there something from, because a lot of times, most of the people that are heavy and most of the people that struggle with food are people that are, and it could just be your current circumstances. Maybe you have a lot of stress. I think as men, we don't give ourselves any slack. You know, we're trying to, women as well, but in the case of being a dude, you're trying to stuff away all these feelings that you have, because we're not supposed to have them. We're supposed to be able to walk right through them like they're nothing. And all at the same time, we're supposed to be able to, have a job and have some good income coming in, be a protector of the family and so forth. And you got a lot of things, you get a lot of things on your plate, and you're just like, well, every guy has those things on their plate. So why am I being a bitch? Like, why am I acting this way? But you're acting that way because sometimes it gets to be a lot of stress, and we just have to admit it and figure out ways to cope with it. And the only way to cope with it is figure out, where is it coming from? Where can we trace it back to? We have another guy here that trains at Super Training, where I helped him for a while. He was really struggling. I couldn't assist him to lose weight. And I just think he could never really get a hold of the diet. And so I asked him one day, I said, hey, you know what? You got to be more honest with me. Like, I need to know what happened. And man, the waterworks came. Like, he just started, this guy's, he's big. And the waterworks just started coming. And the one reason why I said that is, when somebody's really, really heavy, there's almost always a traumatic experience from their childhood. There's something that happened somewhere that they have a really hard time. They can get past it, but they have a really brutal time of getting past it. And that was the case with my mother. She grew up with she had a shitty upbringing, and that screwed her up for life to the point where she could never come out from behind it. So for you, I think that would be a big thing. Like if it's just for fun, if it's just, because it's, it's easier to be with friends when eating some of these junky foods and things like that. That's one thing. But I would examine a little bit deeper if you think it's coming from anywhere else, because if you can fix that, then actually losing weight will actually be very, very easy.
Yeah, totally. I'm on board with that. And I was listening too with what Matthew was saying. I had an uncle, he died when he was 52. He struggled with type 2 diabetes, and he was overweight. And it's like, that was really rough for me. And my mom, and I've had a lot of family members that have dealt with weight. And I feel like I'm that person that I've always told myself that I could never let myself get to that point. And I'm borderline dabbling, and it's definitely not okay. And I'm strong enough with my will and my power and my mentality to go, yo, man, stop this shit. You know exactly where it's going to take you, and you've seen it with your own eyes.
Yeah, just try to just make better decisions. And it appears to me that you're somebody that likes a good challenge. So I would see if you can kind of flip that challenge switch and, commit to a certain style of eating. And maybe it's something that you need to write out, or, I do think it's important to have something on the horizon for most people, because so if a cheat meal is part of the plan, then you'll be less likely to mess up all the time and have to restart your diet again. The hard thing is that a cheat meal can turn into a cheat day, which can turn into a cheat weekend, which can turn into a series of cheat weeks in a row. So you just need to be really cognizant of that. But I think it's totally reasonable to, on your cheat day, it's not an onslaught of eating. It's just, it would be like one cheat meal of something that you are currently eating. So you would hit up the mod pizza and it wouldn't be as big of a deal, but also make some rules for yourself. Say, okay, I can have that cheat meal, but it's only after I already trained really hard for an hour, or it's after I, walked for an hour or something. That way there's something in front of it to help you kind of metabolize some of those calories that you're about to have. So I would advise, trying something or doing something that's a style of diet that you've liked in the past. I would say more keto than carnivore, because I don't really think I don't think you should cut out like vegetables. I actually think that fruit can be pretty valuable too, which isn't normally part of a keto diet. But I would just go, even rather than that, I would just go low carb. Keep your carbs under 50 a day. Eat an apple or so every day, or an orange, whatever one you like better. Eat cheese and red meat and eggs and bacon, chicken, whatever types of meat that you like, whether it be fish or elk or bison. Those are all really good options. And you start to realize like how good a lot of that shit tastes. Like a lot of that stuff tastes really good. I talk about this a lot, but when you go to a fancy restaurant, the main dish, the most expensive thing at the restaurant is not a bag of Doritos. It's a filet mignon, it's a steak, it's a ribeye, and it tastes extraordinary. But if you were to take that same bag of Doritos and you were eat a couple Doritos, and then you follow it up by eating that yummy ribeye that's in front of you, you would not be able to taste the ribeye at all. It's because those companies spend millions and millions of dollars in trying to figure out how to get their claws into you so that you continue to eat their food and that you think about it all the time. And they're very successful with it. I mean, it's working. I think about those foods all the time myself. So,
hey, you know what? One of my goals, I was just thinking about sitting here staring at all these you guys' bodies. Bore left, but his 6-pack was on there. I'm like, I'm gonna put my picture up here with you fuckers when I hit it.
There you go.
Yeah, one of my buddies that we've had on the show before, Cole Robinson, who's a big fan of utilizing a lot of fasting. You might want to look at some of his stuff. He's got some wild shit, man. It'll scare the shit out of you. But Cole was a big fan of people putting it out there. So I'm just going to throw this out there to you. I don't know if you want to do it, but some people, he actually said he's had a lot of success with this. People just taking a photo and saying, here's where I'm at. I'm going for it. And he actually he works, everybody
like publicly, right?
Yes. Everybody that he works with them for free. But that's the one stipulation is you have to put your before picture up. And it's, I think it's brutal to be, to be exposed like that, but it makes a lot of sense because the amount of accountability that it puts on you. And I'm sure he's probably had some people post some of those and they weren't a success, but I think his success rate is pretty high because of that, because people put themselves out there like that. And then you get a lot of support too, because people are like, hey man, don't sweat it. Like I lost 80 pounds, and you'll get a bunch of people that say different things to you that maybe are things that you never thought about before.
Yeah, well, I just, wanted to let you guys know, number one, how much I appreciate all you guys. And, Steven's not in here right now, but, Andrew and Nsima, Boar, Mark, like I really am super, super thankful that, I have you guys at my fingertips, being able to text you and, that you guys are in my core. It definitely, I know you guys are always going to be there for me. And that is a big, something real huge for me.
Yeah, it feels good for us too, having the Dutch Bros family close by and having you guys, available to come in and work out, or Sean to give some business advice. And it's been a great friendship, and it's been great over the years. And I got to come over to the hangar and kind of see. I haven't worked out over there, so I got to hit a workout up over there.
Yeah, I think me and Boar are working out tomorrow morning.
Oh my God!
I'm going to be here 7:00, whether he shows up or not.
The Jacked and Tan plan. Yeah, that's fantastic too that you texted us. I think stuff like that's great. Pull other people in, some of these guys that you have coming into work for Dutch Bros on some of their days off, or if you can catch them at an off hour or whatever. Encourage them to come in. I know sometimes it's not always the same dynamic of lifting with an employee and having an employer, and you got to mind your P's and Q's a little bit more, but I think it'd be great for you, because anytime I need something, I text people and I just say, hey man, can you want to come work out on Thursday? And I get the opportunity to work out with some different people, and it jacks me up and it gets me fired up. The weekend over here at Super Training, we have good energy in here. So anytime you guys want to pop in here on the weekend, you're always more than welcome to.
Yeah, dope. I'm definitely going to take you up on that. And I was just thinking about that, posing for that picture. I got Thug Life tattooed across my stomach recently. I'm not sure if that was the best idea I've ever had, but it's fucking there now. And
it's amazing.
I knew Andrew would appreciate this, but it's identical to the one Tupac had.
Yes.
I came home and my wife was so fucking pissed, dude. I don't think that she realized what I was doing, but yeah.
Dude, poor Peanut. Oh my gosh.
Wait, you got that tattoo without telling your wife you were going to get it?
Well, no, I told
Natty
her,
Professor,
but I don't think the idea was in her head of what it would actually look like, because I got a lot of tattoos, but I don't have much on my stomach. And it's like wham in your face.
I don't know if you knew this, Wayne, but Nsima has his African name, the full African name, tattooed on his dick.
Holy shit.
It's like 175 letters or something like that. It's huge.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The font's super small though, because small penis, but that's how it is.
Yeah, right, dude.
Dude, you know what I was thinking about? Like back in the day, I mean, what was better than having like a big jug of Kool-Aid? Like almost literally nothing. Like as a kid going out, playing on your bike, and you come inside and it's like, dude, mom made some Kool-Aid. But now looking at it today, it's like, dude, I can't have that as an adult, right? Like it's impossible.
Oh yeah. and the Kool-Aid man breaks through. Nah, seriously, man. Since you were mentioning that,
Kill the microphone.
Element has like awesome flavors, 7 awesome flavors, and I'm going to list them all to you right now. Orange, raspberry, citrus, unflavored, mango, chili, lemon habanero, and chocolate. And guess what?
What?
You guys want to try all of these?
Yeah.
Then check out their sample pack.
Yeah, you guys can get a free Element recharge pack right now at drinklmnt.com/power project. And obviously we're having fun here, but the flavors are incredible. And this is an awesome way for you to try out multiple flavors in case you know, maybe orange salt is your jam and you don't want to stray away from it. Well, with this sample pack, you're actually going to be able to try some of the other flavors, like another favorite, citrus salt. Citrus salt. That's what it's called. I always want to call it lime because that's what it reminds me of. Anyways, this stuff really is kind of like grown-up Kool-Aid. You like zero guilt, taste amazing. You can put it in like a big gallon jug and drink that all day long, like some awesome bodybuilders do. Or you can just put it in a shaker cup the way I do. Really, you can't go wrong. Check out the value bundles because that really is where it's at. The value is in the value bundle because you get 3 boxes and they'll send you one absolutely free. Or if you're not ready to fully commit, check out that recharge pack. Again, that's at drinklmnt.com/power project. All they ask is that you cover shipping. Go get over there right now.
All right, Wayne, have a great rest of your day, man. Thank you so much for sharing all that with us. I think that's going to help a lot of people.
I think that Clubhouse is super amazing too. We been on here for a little while. Our friend Kwame, dude, he has an absurd amount of people that follow him. I think he's up to like 700,000 followers.
Wow.
And he has a company called Black Star Fund, and he invests. He's a startup, and I mean, I don't want to say it, but he does like startups for black-owned businesses, and it's amazing what he's doing. And he invited me invited my wife actually because she's better than me. But I put out a thing on Instagram. Does anybody have an invite for Clubhouse? Hook me up. I want to get in there because it's I guess it's not like the easiest thing to get in, but I've been really enjoying it. I think it's a great platform for just a discussion. That
where's your friend located at? Is he around here?
Yeah, he's local. He's amazing. He was actually on my podcast, the Sending It podcast.
Oh.
I think it was episode like 2 or 3.
Shit, well, check it out. I'd love to have him on the show sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to link you guys up. He is amazing. Have you guys ever heard?
Is he handsome like Nsima?
What's that?
Is he handsome like Nsima?
Oh, fuck you.
Oh, all right. Well,
like brother.
His name's Kwame. Then
yeah,
Kwame, dude.
I'm into it.
Have you guys heard of the cookie company called they're Partake?
No, I never heard of it before.
They're like the gluten-free.
Oh, okay.
Man, what the hell are they? I'm gonna fucking butcher it right now. But he actually helped this gal start that company, and have people invest in her company. One of them was Jay-Z. He also used to work with Prince.
Damn.
And his foundations. But yeah, they're called Partake.
Sounds delicious to me. You said cookie, I'm in. All right, Wayne, have a great rest of your day. I think it sounded like you kind of dropped off or something happened. Not sure.
No, they're called, I was looking online. They're called Partake. That's what they're called.
Cool.
And they're for, allergy people.
Right.
Food allergies. But yeah, I'll link you guys up. He's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing
sounds awesome.
All right, love you, dudes.
Catch you later, bud.
Later.
So I was supposed to talk about what I was getting into next. I did talk a little bit about the supplements, but I'll just make this kind of short and sweet. Over the next couple of weeks or so, I'm going to be messing around with some fasting. I have a 5-day fast coming up at a certain point that Dr. Gold, our dentist guest that was on the podcast, he's going to share the protocol with me. I know he wants me to use like a sauna and a bunch of other stuff. And I've been doing some of his protocol lately, but to prep for this 5-day fast, I started fasting, utilizing intermittent fasting. And so at the moment, very simply, I am going to probably eat about 2/3 times a day, depending on when the eating window opens up. and I'm going to. It's going to be a meat-based diet, so I'll eat some meat, and I'll probably have I'll have 2 main meals, and then I'll probably have like a protein shake just to try to make sure I'm getting that protein requirement in case I don't eat enough. But yeah, that's what I'll be doing for the next week or two, and I want to see how that feels and how that works. Along with that, coming up through Dr. Gold, I have a 5-day fast. He believes that this protocol for fasting will help reset my circadian rhythm. I'm somebody that has woken up super early from the time I was young. Even when I was a kid, I'd wake up before school and I'd lift or I'd box in our garage. Like I've always loved it. So on and off for many, many years, I've woken up early. I don't wake up the same time anymore, but I still get up at around 5 or 5:30. I used to wake up more like at 4 very often, and in some cases even would get to the gym at 4, being up at 2:45 in the morning, which now sounds even more ludicrous when I say it. But I think I may have screwed myself up forever with that, but we'll see if we can reset it. I got a sleep study done recently. I'll give you guys more information on that when I can. I forget what the name of the company was, but they sent me a kit. It was really, really simple. I hooked a thing to my finger. I hooked a thing to my chest. I went to sleep. In the morning, boxed the thing back up and shipped it out to my doctor, and he read it. And he told me, what the deal was. I stopped breathing for 10 seconds or more 154 times, which is considered mild sleep apnea, only because people that normally get tested for sleep apnea are just really, really super duper out of shape. And a lot of times they're unhealthy. In my case, I don't think that I'm unhealthy. In accordance to a lot of my blood work, it appears that I'm healthy, but not being able to sleep will eventually make you unhealthy. And so I would like to, if I can, I'd like to try to figure out ways of avoiding cancer and ways of avoiding heart disease. And that's why I love fitness and I love to lift and stuff. But you can't really get there unless all your boxes are checked. And so this one has been going on for a long time. I've tried many different things. I've done many different things. People always ask, hey, have you done this? Have you done that? I have done most things. There's a couple things I haven't done. I haven't examined this mouthpiece that Dr. Gold is going to fix me for. I have tried a sleep apnea machine, and I've tried the mask, and I tried the nose pillow thing, and none of those things worked. I have not jacked up the back of my mattress yet. Dr. Gold or somebody else we had on the show was sharing that if you put your mattress up by a couple inches in the back, it can really help a lot. But I don't know how much these things help with sleep apnea. I tape my mouth, which again, I don't really think that is probably helpful for somebody that stops breathing. In some cases, it might even be more detrimental. It might even be worse, just because you stop breathing. There are a couple other things I haven't really committed to. I haven't really committed to really pushing my cardiovascular strength, which I have a feeling that might help a little bit. Because there's a lot of other people that are just as big as me or bigger than me, and they don't have any, or appear to not have any trouble sleeping. And so there's still a lot of things to examine, but I got Dr. Gold in my corner to help me with it, and a few other friends that will assist me. I got all kinds of blood work going on. I'm going to take a shit in a bucket and send it out to Nigeria because that's what Dr. Gabrielle Lyon is having me do. I don't know what that's about. I don't really understand what's going on with that, but examining everything, urine, blood, poop.
They're going to clone you, bro.
Right? Is that what's going to happen? They haven't asked me to jerk off in anything yet, but I'll do that in a heartbeat.
Oh my God.
If you can only be so lucky.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I have coming up next. I do think that probably within like the next year, I will probably do another bodybuilding show. I mean, I think I'm just too close to being in a good enough shape to do like a prep or something, but I think I would probably bulk myself up before I would start to cut myself down. I don't know how long that would take. I'd probably have to work on getting a little bit bigger and a little bit thicker. Maybe not a huge surplus of calories, but maybe just a little above maintenance to get a little thicker, eat a little bit more carbs. At the moment, along with my intermittent fasting and stuff, I'm just going to eat carbs with one meal. So it'll be like 50 grams of carbs or something like that. Or maybe, I'm not really sure. Like last night I had like half a thing of rice, which was about 40 grams of carbohydrates, I think. If there's small amount of carbs and some other stuff, like I'm not going to sweat it. Not a big deal, but that's some of the goals, some of the things I'm working on. I really want to just get this sleep thing figured out and make sure my health is good, make sure everything's in check with that. And I even have a cardiologist I'm working with. I'm just kind of examining and checking everything and making sure everything's good to go. Everything appears to be good to go, but I'm just double checking and making sure that I'm all set. And then, when the time's right, maybe I'll bulk and cut and do another bodybuilding show. But we shall see. For the immediate future, I'm just working on getting leaner and utilizing some intermittent fasting along with that dreaded 5-day fast that I told you Dr. Gold has me working on. Is the Natty Professor still there?
He is. And then actually Coach House just joined the room.
Oh my God. What? Mr. Natty Professor, what's up, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. It's funny. Once I got on this call, I had my dog chilling up here while I was working. And he just peed on the carpet while we were chilling. So as you were talking, I was carpet cleaning, and yeah, it's been good.
How is that new puppy? What kind of dog you got?
Yeah, it's Siberian Husky. He's good, man. No, he's great because actually the fun thing is he has me picking up some good habits. He makes me wake up earlier. He makes me longboard with him every day. So I'm doing all these cool things that are good for me, but it's because I have to take care of him.
What's his name?
Ash. His first name was Hypno, but I changed that shit because I didn't like it. So Ash, ASH.
I love it. Easy, quick. You were over my house a couple days ago, and my brother asked you a couple questions about your eating, and you utilize a lot of intermittent fasting. Any idea of how long you fast every day for and stuff like that? We got some feedback going on.
Yeah, Coach House.
Shut him down.
All right. So 1 second.
Now we lost Nsima. There you are.
No, I'm here. In terms of fasting, I use it a little bit every day. I ate a little bit earlier today just because I was feeling kind of hungry. So I cooked up 5 patties, some cheese, and ate that. But I think on average, like if we're going to do like an average of what every day ends up being, maybe it's like 14, 15 hours. Some days if I ate a lot the day before, it'll be a longer fast. So maybe I'll fast for 16, 20 hours. And some days I don't fast at all, just if I'm not feeling it. But the thing is, it all started with when I picked up fasting with you a few years ago, I was super strict and rigid with it. So every day would be at least a 16 or 20 hour fast. But then once I got the habit of it and I figured out like ways that I could still make it work for me without being too strict, that's when I started, flowing with it a little bit. So I don't have to fast every day. It's not actually, learning from you, Thomas DeLauer and a bunch of other people, you don't need to fast every single day. And you probably shouldn't. So yeah, now It's just like it flows.
Yeah. And you mentioned that when you were over my house, we had some hamburger, we had some 75-25 Piedmontese beef patties, and those were absolutely ridiculous. And you had a patty without the bun, you had a patty with the bun. And you mentioned that before you came over, you had some eggs. Can you talk about that? Like why did you eat before you ate?
So yeah, that's why I like this whole fasting thing because, I had some eggs because I knew I was going to eat a lot when I got to your place. Right. And when you messaged me about it, I hadn't eaten yet. So I was like, okay, well, I'm already kind of hungry, but I want to eat too much because when I get to your place, I want to destroy as much food as I can reasonably. So I had some eggs because it's just protein. And if you fast a lot, you'll realize that your first meal, you can't eat a lot of food. Because if you do, you'll probably throw up. So I had those eggs to just kind of prep my stomach for the devastation that was going to happen when I got to your house.
Mm. Yeah, that makes sense. Because sometimes if you're fasting and you go to eat, like it just blows your stomach up and you're like, oh my God. Have you noticed just from fasting and maybe the implementation of eating more protein that you've gotten leaner over the last 2 years? Are those two of the major? Is there any other habit or any other thing that's been in there that's helped you get a little leaner?
I think the main thing, well, one of the big things is starting jujitsu like 5 years ago. That in itself is just like, it's cardio that I do every day that doesn't feel like cardio, right? So I burn a lot of calories without trying when it comes to that. Another big thing is just being on my feet more. If we're going to talk about just habits that have helped me to stay lean, I try not to be sitting while I'm working, and I try not to sit for a lot of the day. But fasting, I think, is one, it's like either the top or the top two things, just because like through my history, like through life, I have not been the person that has had the most self-control when it's come to food. I was lucky enough to play a lot of sports that I could get away with having bad food habits. But I noticed that when I stopped, playing soccer and I just started only doing lifting, like I could put on some weight pretty quick. Right. And, I like to eat, but by doing some fasting and by doing it over the years, it's helped me to be able to get like used to, first off, not having to eat whenever I feel hungry. Because that's what I used to do. If I felt a little bit of a grumble in my stomach, I'd reach for something or I'd find something. That and not holding snacks with me all the time, so I'm not always eating. But I think the big thing that fasting did for me is it allowed me to not always respond to the feeling of hunger. And that's been the saving grace for me not getting too big.
Do you get to lift a little bit less because of the activity of jiu-jitsu, or do you have to still lift about the same to stay? I mean, you're what, 245 pounds, 240 pounds, and you're maybe single digit body fat most of the time, something like that, right?
Yeah, I'm 245 and I'm probably like 9 to 11%. But with jujitsu, I do lift a little less than I used to, because it's like you can only put your energy into so many things before you start to break down. So I lift 3 times a week now, sometimes 4.
How many exercises do you do in a given workout?
Every workout's full body. So I will make sure that I work all my muscle groups in every workout, because I'm having to work out fewer times per week. When I was working out 5 to 6 days a week, I was able to spread that out. But now I have to use some big movements. If we're going to say how many movements that I do per workout, it ranges anywhere between 6 to 10. But I will have attacked every single muscle group in that workout just because I'm only working out 3 times a week.
So you might do some pull-ups, you might do some like dips, and then you might venture into some squats. Like you might do kind of all these different things all in one day.
Yeah. Because like again, that'll be the main thing that allows me to like keep all the muscle while doing something like jujitsu that requires a lot of cardio. And for a lot of people, when they do that type of martial art, they either don't lift, but that actually makes them lose muscle. So I'm just doing everything I can to hold on to the muscle I have and actually keep me healthy. Because I've noticed, when I started jujitsu and I kind of turned down my lifting a little bit, I got injured more often because like I wasn't lifting as much. So lifting actually helps me not to get injured too.
Is it fair to say that you lift for maybe like about an hour each time?
Yeah, between 45 and 90 minutes, but usually it averages around an hour each session. Just want to get in and get out.
So, for people listening that maybe aren't familiar with Nsima is jacked as hell. And he earned that through many, many hours in the gym when he was younger. And he's built himself up to this point where he can maintain and maybe have some slight growth in certain areas of his fitness. But it's pretty remarkable once you have it on like what you need to do to keep it. 3 hours a week, 4 hours a week. I mean, if you put him in a lineup next to other people that lift, and you said, which guy lifts the least amount, for hours in the gym, you would never suspect that it would be him because he's just super jacked. So that's incredible. It's great. It's great efficiency. And, I think a lot of times in some of the stuff I hear you say, And I think it's great to have somebody like you around us all the time. You're taking a lot of things that we're hearing on the podcast, and you're figuring out a way, how do I incorporate this for myself? You give it a shot, you see how it works for you. If it works for you, it looks like you continue with it. And then, you throw out the shit that's not working. So congrats to you. It's awesome, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Like everything with the podcast is like, it's a selfish endeavor for me because we get to have all these awesome, smart people on, and I get to ask them all the questions that I just want to try and use for myself and maybe some people I work with. But I get to learn so much all the time. So I'm grateful. I'm just happy. Too many good.
No, there he is. So would you guys say, I mean, just taking my situation in consideration, newborn at home, it's been tough to get into the gym just because the sleep has been terrible, and I like to work out in the morning, and it's been really difficult to look at the clock and be like, it's 1 a.m. All right, it's 3 a.m. It's like, right. Shit. Okay, here we go. Would you say it would be more beneficial for someone like me in my situation to try the full body workouts or focus on a couple muscle groups and get in and out as fast as I can?
Yeah, I think, you have to, you don't want to try to force yourself to do stuff that you don't enjoy. So if you've never really done full body workouts before, or just haven't done them in a long time, it would be a good idea to do one to see if you enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, maybe you can continue on with it. I don't think it hurts anything to implement it. And I think one of the big advantages there is, like, you might get a little sore here and there, but I think the amount of volume per body part is low enough and spread out enough over the course of the week that you won't really run into that much of that. So moving around slowly and having your body be stiff and some of those things, you probably won't really run into as much of that. You'll probably feel better, maybe move better in your day to day. For you personally, it might be a little bit better for your back to have, some sort of leg stuff in there every day to where you're hip hinging and moving your legs around and all that stuff, rather than only maybe moving your, hip hinging and squatting and stuff like that. Maybe only like once a week or just a couple times a month. Maybe now you're doing it several times a week. And I think that might be huge for strengthening your back because as Dr. Stuart McGill points out, the muscles of the lower back are stamina muscles. And they respond great to like a shit ton of reps. And so this would increase the amount of, lower back stimulus that you would get in a given week, all while suppressing the amount of weight that you need to lift, and also suppressing this need to like do a lot of volume because you're just doing this one thing on this one day. Now you're spreading everything out. So I think that would be really effective to explore. But if you don't like it, if you go to do it and you don't dig it, then I would just say, fuck it, go back to just lifting, one or two body parts.
Yeah. I like the simplicity of like focusing on like, okay, today we're just going to do chest and then do a couple movements, get in, get out. But I don't feel as accomplished when I do that. I try to like rush through things.
Right.
So I think maybe doing a full body workout might kind of satisfy that feeling of like, okay, dude, today I crushed it. Like, let's move on. I don't know. What do you think, Nsima?
Dude, I think that you can, and this is something that I started doing more often after we had Nick Bear on the podcast. Nick Bear had this thing that he said he did since he was a kid, where he would do 100 push-ups a day. It's just his normal shit. 100 push-ups a day, every single day. That's what he does. But after I started doing that, I was like, okay, I'm just going to aim to do 50 push-ups a day, whether I'm like sitting at my computer or whether I go to super training or whether I work out or not. Let me just do 50 push-ups a day. And at the time I was having some shoulder issues, and I noticed that by just making that a daily habit, my shoulder issues went away, but I was also able to improve some things that I had going on with my AC joint and other stuff. But the reason why I'm saying this for you is because you got a kid. So some days you're not going to be able to make it to the gym, maybe. Some days you might be stuck at the desk. Some days you might be working from home. But if you have a goal of like, let's say that you have a pull-up bar at your house and you're working, just say, okay, today and every day I want to do 50 push-ups and 20 to 30 pull-ups just daily. It can be throughout your day, 50 push-ups, 20, 30 pull-ups. I swear that shit will compound for you over time if you make it a habit. Sooner or later, it's going to be, okay, I want to do 75 push-ups every single day and 40 pull-ups. I'm going to get it done. I have 24 hours to do it. I'm just going to get it done, right? That'll slowly roll into something else. And it's also going to be great because on days that you can't make it in the gyms, for some reason, you're still doing something. I think you can start implementing that. Because I still do the push-up, pull-up thing. I still make sure to get in reps every single day, whether I'm at home or at the gym. So I'd say start doing that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And since you programmed pull-ups into damn near all my workouts, I've actually been enjoying, and like I kind of get pumped to like look forward to those days, because I'm like, let's see how many I can get through today. And it's it is something that I do in the gym right now, though, and I think just easily getting a pull-up bar or something at home would fix all that.
Great stuff. Thank you, Natty Professor, for sharing that. We're going to hop on out of here. Andrew, can you take us on out of here, buddy?
I will. Thank you, everybody, for checking out today's Clubhouse. It was a Saturday school for the first time on Clubhouse. We're going to be saying that a lot, the first time of this and first time of that, but it's amazing, and we're learning as we go. So, thank you, everybody, for being patient with us. We really appreciate it. Make sure you guys are following the podcast at Mark Bell's Power Project on Instagram, at MB Power Project on Twitter, just that way you do get these notifications, because again, I know Clubhouse is kind of like an exclusive thing, but as of right now, that's going to be the only ways for you guys to see whether or not we are going to hop on Clubhouse, and that way you have more opportunities to hang out and chat with Mark Bell and the crew. My Instagram is at I am Andrew Z, so is my Twitter and Clubhouse. Mark, where you at?
I'm at Mark Smelly Bell on pretty much everything. I actually did a video the other day on anxiety that I think people would dig a lot, that they would like a lot. You can check it out over on my YouTube channel, which is at Mark Smelly Bell. Mark Smelly Bell. There you go. Something else I wanted to mention before I hop off here is that I'd like to come on Clubhouse as much as possible. So you're going to see a lot of me on here. Sometimes it will be for the podcast. Sometimes it will just be shooting the shit with fans. I want to just hop on here, and we're trying to give you guys some time to be aware that we have a platform here to talk from, and I want to hear from you guys. Just like we heard from Matthew Balcom today, the stories from you guys. I know you guys want to hear me talk about the same old shit all the time, hear me talking about my powerlifting days or whatever. I know that some of that gets some of you guys fired up, but honestly, I think the better stories come from you guys. I really do. Matthew Balcom losing 150 pounds. Like, I don't know how you could, I think it's impossible to not be inspired by that story. That's a wonderful story. Plus, when you consider, sometimes people are in rough spots in their life, and they're not only in a rough spot, but they have this huge hill to climb. They have to battle an addiction, or they have to battle being obese, or they have to battle a disease. And it's like, man, some of these stories, they get me fired up and they get me excited. So I want to continue to hear from you guys about how you lifted through it. If you take everyone, just kind of take a little step back and remember, part of my mission, part of the Power Project, part of Super Training Gym, part of Slingshot, and part of and part of just everything that I'm involved in. It's all in order. Yeah, it's all heading towards the same thing. I am here. I have been put on this planet to make the world a better place to live, and I can't do it on my own. I need you guys. I need your help. I need your assistance. I need to hear from you. I need to know how you lifted through it, and we need to share it out with other people, because other people need to know. They truly and honestly need to know how important fitness is, how important nutrition is. We need to continue to spread this word. We need to be freaky, like Bible-beaten sons of bitches. Mm-hmm. The Bible that we beat needs to be the Arnold Schwarzenegger encyclopedia. And we need to bash people over the head with it and tell them, you got to get your ass in the gym. Mm-hmm. No, encourage. We want to encourage people to find some form of fitness, whether it be yoga or jiu-jitsu. I'd love to see everybody lift, but I recognize that not everybody's going to gravitate towards that. Not everyone's going to dig that. But I think it's massively important because of what it can do for your metabolism and what it can do for your mind. I've talked often on the show before about mindsets. Doing these sets, where you're taking yourself to failure and you're taking yourself into deep water, and you have no idea how you're going to be able to swim back, or if you're even going to be able to make it back. You might drown, but you're going for it. You're doing a set of 20. You're sticking to it. You're on rep number 12, and your mind kicks in. Your mind tells you, hey man, you know what? Like, this is not a good idea to do this 13th rep of squats. Your legs start shaking. You get to rep number 14. You get to rep number 15. And your lower back is saying, hey man, you should call her quits. Your brain is telling you that you might not even make it back into the squat rack. But this is not an opportunity just to train your body. This is not about just having bigger quads or having more veins coming out of your quads or having your hamstrings and glutes look magnificent. This is about your body, your mind, and your spirit. These are mindsets. What kind of mindset do you have? What are you made out of? Who in the fuck are you? Who are you? Are you the name that your parents gave you when you were a kid? Are you something beyond that? Are you the names that you've been called when you're on the playground when you were a kid? Or are you on a journey and on a mission to find out what you can really do and find out what you can really truly become by going through a tough, rigorous process? I've told people many times before, when people ask about this or when they ask about that, I usually tell them, you know what? You should do a bodybuilding show. You should do a powerlifting meet. You should, somebody will tell me, I want to be rich one day. And I really encourage that. When somebody says that, I say, you should want to become a millionaire when somebody says something like that to me. And I think people have some weird concepts around, why you would say something like that. But the reason why I say that is because of what it can make of you. Not because of the amount of money that you make. It's because of what it can make of you in the process. I think it's a great idea to want a set of abs. Again, not to have a set of abs to be like, yo, check me out, bro. That's cool. That whatever. Like it shows accomplishment. It shows progress. Progress is success, and it feels great to be a success. It feels great to be successful. But it's not just about being successful with that. Where else can you point that towards? Maybe you can point that energy towards helping other people. Maybe you can point that energy towards helping to make the world a better place to live, which is part of my mission here. So again, I appreciate all you fans. I appreciate everybody. Let people know that I'm on Clubhouse, and see you guys soon. Strength is never weakness. Weakness never strength. Catch you all later.